Somebody else made that happen.
Right. So it seems like but you still believe in the process, the democratic process, that your vote means something, that you can make a difference in politics. But it seems like a lot of younger kids, younger generation these days are a bit sort of disillusioned by it. Do you have any thoughts on that?
I think that there's a lot. The youth is always disillusioned. I mean,
across the board.
Yeah. And can I make a difference? Yeah, we've made a little bit of a difference. We've got a Republican governor here now. We worked at that. Mm-hmm. We were some of her first supporters. Mm-hmm. And we're going to do our damnedest to try and turn at least the State House of Representatives. Mm-hmm. And I'm very involved in that effort. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, in New Mexico, you can move the needle. Mm-hmm. I mean, you can have an effect in a small state like this. Mm-hmm. I mean, I know the governor, and I know the lieutenant governor, and I know a lot of legislators personally. Mm-hmm. All you have to do is go meet them. Right. You know, they're not that inaccessible.
Right.
Now, the governor's become inaccessible because of her political operative that she's got in there, and I'm not sure I'm too crazy about him, but... Mm-hmm. You know, I'm a big school choice guy. I believe that the private system works better than the public system and always has. Mm-hmm. And it's cheaper. Mm-hmm. It's what Gary Johnson said at our 10th anniversary. He says, do you realize if we turned all of our 300,000 students into the private sector, we could do it for a third the price, a third less than what it's costing us today?
And probably get better.
Absolutely.
Maybe.
Unions, government unions, the NEA. Mm. You know, even in Texas with a Republican governor, a Republican Senate, and a Republican House of Representatives, they could not get vouchers passed. That's how powerful the NEA is. These unions are crushing. People have no idea how evil they are. Government unions are the worst. They should never have existed. And you know who did that for us? Three guesses, and your first three won't count. John F. Kennedy. Huh. He's the one that gave us these monstrous unions that we're now having to live with. And they just are killing us. It's unbelievable what they cost. You know, a bus driver in San Francisco can retire on over $100,000 a year when he's like 45 with full benefits.
A bus driver?
A bus driver.
Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
It's all government.
And California's not doing so good either.
Well, take a look at this is basically how the Soviet Union that led to the demise. If you were within the political system, you lived like a king. Mm-hmm. Of course, you know, the rest of the plebeians were just, there was no middle class.
Right.
So, you know, that's essentially, you know, this is where government will take you. You become a completely divided society. Government basically takes everything. And there is no real private sector. I mean, they're still battling to try and create a private sector in Russia. They don't have one, particularly.
Right. Right.
So, you know, and you go down, if you know, I love Michael Moore going to Cuba and praising their system. You know what a doctor makes in Cuba? A full-blown MD? I think it's about $60 a month.
Wow.
At the most. Now, they don't have to buy the food. You know, they don't have to buy anything.
Right.
But that's about what they make. So, you know, they've got one of the stellar training for doctors down there. The problem is what do they do?
Yeah.
You know, there's just nothing for them to do. And as far as it's really sad because if you think about it, if they'd have left Cuba alone and there hadn't been a revolution, without Castro, Batista would have fallen. There's very few right-wing dictators left.